Patreon questions. And we're live. Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. How's everybody doing today? And today got with me special guest Nerdarchist Ted in the house. Woo!
I'm a
Uh,
special guest on my own channel.
yeah, pretty much your special guest on your channel.
Yeah,
We were supposed to be hanging out with our friend Pete today, but we're not sure what happened to him. He may be dead. We're not sure. Murdered by a hobo.
or at least somebody looked at his account and saw the link. But we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. So it's me and Ted. We're doing it live. We're gonna be taking your questions. You know, general chat. We can talk about D&D. We can talk about other things. We can talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. I can tell Ted all about it. He won't even have to go see the movie.
Uh, suck.
So yeah, Baby Groot is a jerk. That's all I got to say on that. What's up, Doug? What's happening, brother? We got Doug in the chat, and well, we got 3 viewers. I might as well. I'm just gonna go out to lunch. Oh, we're climbing. We're up to 4. I think I shared it around. But last night was a fun game with the Scarlet Sisterhood. Although I don't know what was going on with Megan's. Her internet was really crappy yesterday. Occasionally it is, but it's been pretty good when we've gamed. We've been fairly fortunate with that. I know you've done like private stuff, meeting with the writers and stuff, and said that you've had problems with the internet, but usually it's not a big deal. But last night it was awful.
Yeah, I was told that when well, I'm getting an echo. This is weird.
You're getting an echo.
Yeah.
You know that happens sometimes. I'm not sure why.
You
Cassandra
not hearing
Case. No, I'm not. Oh, is that my Cassandra? Is that my Canadian? Hey, Cassandra. She plays Chalia in TV Timmy's game Tuesday nights. We got Chris Drews in the house. We got staff writer Ty and staff writer Doug. Awesome. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Yeah, Doug, Jen from Pixelscapes did join the crew, which is really cool. She does, this awesome, like, it's kind of like almost cartoonish art that she uses tons of like outrageous colors with it, and it looks like something you would like. I don't know. Some of you guys are probably even too young to even remember this, but or I don't even know if it's still around. Spencer's Gifts, and like I remember we were in high school, we'd go there, and you'd buy like the felt blacklight posters. Well, that's what her art very much reminds me of. So she's supposed to be doing she's doing a, well, not supposed to, she is doing a troglodyte for us that's going to go up there. And a lot of times she'll like Twitch stream when she does the actual coloring and stuff. So she'll do the drawing and then she'll put it up on Twitch and do the do the actual coloring of it. So I've already seen the preview. So the troglodyte is already being drawn, and now it just needs to be colored. He's in the backlog somewheres. Ty promises not to talk newspapers. Oh, okay. So in case I know where that's coming from. You can talk newspapers if you want. I don't care. I mean, I may ignore you a little bit, but zone out if it's too boring. But what he's talking about is Ty is going to be at Origins. Me and staff writer Doug are going to be there, so that's cool. We'll be able to hang out. Supposed to hang out with Rudy Rutenberg and Satine Phoenix when we hit Origins as well, so that's cool. Hopefully I'll be able to get some videos with those guys. And then, yeah, that should be all around a good time. Although, figuring out the logistics for Nerdarchy that week is going to be like a nightmare.
Yes, it's gonna be challenging. You know, we're kind of putting a little bit of a trial run this weekend of, how to figure stuff out, and Dave is potentially not there.
It's impossible, preposterous. I'm going to return to Ted's house, and it's going to be on fire. I'm like, there's smoke. Why is there smoke from down the street? But anyway, yeah. So I was saying Jen had joined the game last night for Scarlet Sisterhood because Vex has been kind of spotty. I think she hasn't been in for like 3 weeks now, so hopefully she's okay. But I'm like, well, these guys need at least one more person in their party. So I started recruiting, and Sam is like, you should ask Satine if she wants to play. I'm like, for some reason, I suspect it'll be hard to get Satine in our game. She's very busy and also on the West Coast, so I just imagine it would be tough. Would be my guess.
So Doug's saying we should do a live chat from Origins.
I'm thinking about it, Doug. My only concern is we'll have to figure out the logistics of internet. Now, that being said, we actually did one from a hotspot from my phone um, on the cruise. So it's probably very doable. And I believe I forget where the hotel is. You knew better than I do. So we'll probably be far away. Like if we did the live chat from the hotel room, it would probably not be a problem. It wouldn't be very exciting, but it would it'd probably be doable. Actually doing it from Origins itself might be a problem. Security might ask us to stop. That's always an issue. And then the other thing is the internet access is actually the really tough thing. So, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, Doug. Me and you can do the live chat, maybe from the hotel room or lobby or something at wherever we are at Origins. We probably would be able to get away with that. And then we could talk about Origins. It just wouldn't be like Origins going on around us. So, and I don't know if we'd be able to steal anyone away to actually, hang out with us, like have a guest on or something. Because, like I said, I'd have to look and see where the hotel is in conjunction to Origins. I don't think we're real close, if I recall. So that might be tricky. Be like, hey, want to come hang out like 10 miles away from Origins with us for an hour? No, 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 we're not being creepy, and we're not going to kidnap you. Unless you're Matt Mercer, we might. The fans demand it. So
So is Matt Mercer supposed to be there?
at Oranges, I have no idea. You know what? I haven't really looked at it. I should probably do more research.
You got time.
I got a couple weeks, at least. I have a press pass, so I feel like I should like pretend to be press. I need to get like a fedora and like an old school camera
You need a microphone.
and a microphone. Absolutely.
And if you're really going old school, then you need the little notepads. Go write stuff down on.
I think so, and a trench coat.
Well, yeah.
All these things. So, is anyone else going to be at Origins? That's the question. Who's going to be there and hanging out with us? Is the big question. You guys going to be looking for us? Let's see. I have to come up with a plot for my second ever DM session tomorrow. I was thinking about a Fae theme with a war brewing between Dryads and Centaurs, second level. Huh. Well, I hope they don't have to fight the Dryads or Centaurs because I think they're going to be boned. That would be a pretty brutal fight there for a second level party.
Yeah, centaurs are pretty rough.
Yeah, I think so. Poison Ekru sounds cool. Yeah, it would be cool. The trick is to figure out how you're going to execute. I think like you should probably have them like do a quest or something where they have to bring something back to the two warring parties and like present it, and that's like that'll be like the catalyst for the peace talks. Or failing that quest, it's the catalyst for the war that's going to rage between the two sides. Maybe something sacred to one side or the other was stolen, and they think the other person did it, and whoever the other person kind of comes to the adventuring party and convinces them they didn't do it, and then and then they have to go then it's a mystery, and they have to figure out who actually did do it, why they did it, and there's tons of fun things you could do with it, like maybe maybe the faction that had something stolen from them, maybe there's a group inside of them that actually want the war, so they actually stole it from themselves, and you have to like uncover that mystery.
It could literally be only negotiations and conversation with these individual parties, and then any actual combat encounters are done apart from either of them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Plus, I really feel like Dryads and Centaurs are going to be really hard for a second level party. Like maybe the thing was stolen from the Dryads, and for whatever reason there's a sect in the Dryads that wants the war to happen, so they've hired kobolds or goblins or something like that.
No, I got it. We'll keep it completely in Fae. It's all because of pranks by pixies.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
the pick whatever item is kind of misplaced, or whatever, the pixies went in and stole the centaur's object and stole the dryad's object and flip-flopped them, and now they're both accusing each other of, oh, you stole my such and such, and oh, you stole my such and such. So, and literally they're going to investigate, and they're going to find pixies, and the pixies are going to just be laughing hysterical because they think it's awesome.
Oh, Staff Writer Doug, man, stepping up. I'm going to try and stream or record for the first time this Sunday. What are you gonna what are you gonna stream or record? Are you gonna actually do a gameplay? Is it online, or is it a in person game? That's cool though. You know what Scott Garibay says? If you're playing, you should be recording. Although he doesn't. Although I won't call him out because he doesn't actually do it.
Well, the games he runs here are recorded.
They are, but his games that he runs at home using the big screen they're not recorded games. So, hey, I'm calling him out. He's got to start recording them.
Doug's saying he's recording his gameplay in person.
Oh, cool. Huh? I wonder what kind of setup he's going to use. Roll dice, roll film. Yeah. I believe that is his motto.
And there is Garibay in the chat.
Yeah, he shows up pretty often. Roll dice, roll camera. Yeah, but where's your camera roll, man, when you play your in-home games? We want to see it, Scott. Oh, you know what, too? Scott, we got some Patreon questions, and one of them actually involves Scott, actually. So let me jump over here. Okay. World of Hawthorne. I'm a big fan of Scott G on his take of RPGs and knowledge of the business. Does Scott have a Twitter account or a blog where he shares his opinions? He actually has his own YouTube channel, and he does a lot of RPG content on there. It used to be everything, but I think he changed up a little bit because people were complaining about his personal stuff on there, even though like I always defended him because it's always been like his personal vlog where he might talk about movies. He was like telling a novel like that he was coming up with. Thanks, Doug. He was sometimes it might be politics, sometimes it's RPGs. I think a lot of people were mistaken and they thought his YouTube channel was a RPG YouTube channel because he talks about it a lot, but it's not really. It's just that RPGs are really a big part of his life. So he does talk about those a lot. And I think it's just Scott J. Garibay on YouTube, I believe, is his channel.
Yeah, Doug put it up there.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't even see it. Did it show the link? And also, of course, you can also see Scott Garibay on Nerdarchy.com, where he writes articles for us. So you can definitely get your fill of Scott Garibay. He writes an article a week, and then he puts up his YouTube videos. He's got a bunch of them up there now, so you'll be able to check them out. Sorry, guys, I'm like distracted by the chat. Yeah, that's what I thought. You can't really put links in the chat. It does not allow for it. So Comic University, hey, I'm away from the keyboard doing daddy things, but I ran in to remind Nerdarchy to get next Thursday in order. I'm listening. I just can't keep running back to the computer. Come on, man. you gotta multitask. So some of you may be confused and not know what
Bill's talking about.
What Bill's talking about, and he's going to run a Marvel Phase Rip game for Doug, Kyle, me, and Ty next Thursday. We'll be playing some Marvel. We'll be throwing some dice for an hour or two, and he's got a 3-session arc in mind. So we're going to do that for a couple weeks. So it'll be next Thursday, and then maybe the following weeks. I got to talk to everybody, make sure it works for them, but see if we can. And also if I have the openings, if we can flip that to Wednesday going forward. But that should be a lot of fun. I have not played Phase Rip Marvel in like 2 decades. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna have to remember the rules. But despite what Anthony Amato said the other day, the chart is really easy to follow. It's literally like find the number, go across to your stat, and you get the result. It's like so simple. Like even a high school dropout can figure it out. So, but he was like, "This is like a graph chart," and I don't know. He was not digging on the Marvel Universal table. It was like the best part of the game. Yeah, Matt, definitely it's going to be happening. And we don't even know what the characters are going to be because I was like, because I asked Bell, I'm like, are we going to make up characters? You want us to make some characters up, or do you guys want us to, or are we going to use pre-gens? But apparently he's going to give us characters to use. I think they're going to be actual Marvel superheroes, but he said probably ones that are a little more obscure. Watch, he's gonna put out a bunch of them and be like, oh, these are some of the titles I actually used to read. I mean, but a lot of the stuff I used to read was a little more obscure, except for the X titles. And back when I was reading comics, I guess there was only like 15 different X titles.
Oh, you had Excalibur and X Factor and X Force and X Men and
There was 2 X-Men teams.
oh, I was that as well.
They eventually split it into 2 teams, like the blue and the gold. They're like, how can we suck more money out of these guys? I know. we split the team in half. That's funny, Andrew. Could a beauty school dropout figure it out? I always tease my daughter and call her that. Um, maybe. I think so. I don't know where they fall. I don't know where they fall in comparison to a high school dropout. We did have some other questions over on Patreon too, which I will jump over here. So Brad Scary asked the question, everyone. So you know what? I think maybe he wants you guys in the chat to answer this one too, clearly, because it says everyone. That can't just be me, Ted, and Mystery Pete. What is your favorite race class combo? So me and Ted, well, me mostly. I was kind of breaking balls a little bit because I feel like we get this question so often, so very often. My favorite race class combo is Dwarf Anything.
My favorite race is usually Elf, but I haven't played an Elf in quite a while. I get kind of too mixed up on mechanics when I sometimes come up with a character concept. But I really dig my Elven Blade Singer and my Elven Archer that I had made years and years ago.
Stafford digs on Forbish Man. I'm not even sure who Forbish Man is, or if you're just being a smartass and you made something up.
We got Goliath Monk and Dragonborn Paladin.
Goliath Monk, huh? Scott Garrett was the one with the Dragonborn Paladin.
Yep.
Interesting. Although I don't think I've seen you play a Dragonborn Paladin yet. I've seen him play a Dragonborn Druid.
I think he played a Dragonborn Paladin in Heather's game, but then he wound up bowing out because he didn't have the time to commit to the game. That was one of the games that we did not in the Nerdarchy basement.
Not in the lair. The lair.
Oh, it's a lair now, huh? I get a lair.
Lair. And sweet treasure. Now you just need adventurers to come kill you.
What?
It all comes hand in hand. Boulder Fist the pugilist. Halfling Monk is a close second. Halfling Monk is actually pretty badass in this edition. Because you can get especially if you want to go ultimate cheese and be Ghostwise Halfling Monk,
which is what I actually had for the 40th level game that Sam ran on the channel.
Oh, here's one for you, Ted. Calabac. I want to play a bugbear. Anyone done that?
Oh, I did. Back in 3rd edition, I I ran a bugbear barbarian, and we were very nearly at epic level. I think like we were right on that threshold, and man, that was one spectacular game that Dave ran.
Andrew, I made a half trail, half human, half elf male. Did you use that? Did you use the rules in the skag for that? Isn't there like the variant half elves in there? Like I remember we like answered a question about like doing half elf variations, and like just before that book came out, and we just like totally bashed on it. And then they've come out with it, and that's exactly what they did. Matter of fact, I think I got that book right here at my shoulder. Acolyte 14, I've done a Dragonborn Rogue, but he wasn't the massive burly Dragonborn that they're usually depicted as. Yeah, I could see that be fun. Although, you know, I'd also could see it being fun to play like the thug rogue with a Dragonborn. The only thing that's tough is the sneak attack rules are so specific in 5e that it does kind of limit you on, you know, your weapon choices.
Well, I think they were trying to get away from the ridiculousness of I'm going to sneak attacking you with my greatsword that was allowed in third edition.
Right. So
Which
now you have to use a ballista instead.
you know, as I we did all kinds of crazy games back in the day, and you know we'd run a Gestalt game, which essentially for those that didn't play third was you actually you leveled up two classes at once, and I think a fighter rogue or something along those lines. So I was totally sneaking attack with my greatsword.
Well, what else would you sneak attack with? So, Doug, in 3.5, one of my players was a bugbear ninja. The other party members were how does he? How does he? I'm not sure what that is. Samurai and a catfolk scout. Um, I had null ninjas in my Eberron campaign. Essentially, you know, I think I put ninja levels on top of nulls, and it was part of an organization that was operating out of the like the lower ward in Sharn, and they had that whole monster ghetto there, which was really cool.
Well, sometimes you just need null ninjas. I mean,
Yeah, you know, I felt like the game was missing it a bit. There's been a bunch of Minotaurs, I think, in the Nerdarchy past. I've played. We played Dragonlance way back in the day, and I definitely played a Minotaur then, Minotaur Barbarian, which was just total overkill.
oh come on, we have one of Ryan's classic blunders was the Minotaur.
Yeah, when he kept charging the wall, the brick wall.
Well, I was referring to the fact that back in the day it was a PC's responsibility to keep track of their hit points, and he didn't get healed, and we get into combat, and you tell him how much damage he took, and he's like, "Okay, I make my attack," and you're like, "No, dude, you're dead."
Yeah, that's back when I kept track of damage. I don't even do it anymore. I'm just like, it's the player's responsibility. I'm like,
Excellent.
I'll tell you how much damage you took. You tell me when you're dead.
All right, I will be perpetually at one hit point.
Well, I think eventually I might figure that one out though.
Whew, I'm still standing.
Like, Ted, I think you were dead 4 rounds ago. But who am I to say?
Yeah, so that was
Oh, here's one of the Patreon questions for Ted specifically.
Uh-oh.
You're getting thrown right under the bus with this one.
All right.
Brace yourself. All right, Wayne Harmon, Ted, status progress on Conan game. Any plans for a video once the miniatures are assembled and rules researched? Thanks.
Well, there is no update to be had at this point in time. There is no real assembly that needs to be done for the miniatures, but I do have to try and wrangle time and figure out how to play the game. And maybe we'll try to find one of these off weeks that we don't have a game planned, and we'll try to get some video of gameplay.
I don't know. I thought you were doing something with it because I saw the stuff moved around.
I was looking for something.
Oh,
sorry.
It literally went from one place in the basement to another. It's probably listen, guys. I'm going to chalk that up as progress. Check progress. Stuff was moved. Andrew, is Dragonlance and Faerun in the same place, or are they two different worlds entirely? I really only read Forgotten Realms. They are two different worlds. Dragonlance is Kryn, the world of Kryn, and even like the magic. Some acolyte actually answered it right underneath, probably before me. Even like the magic system was a little bit different in Kryn, because you had the three towers of high sorcery, and basically like you had to belong to one of them, and you were either the black robes, the red robes, or the white robes. And yes, they probably mean exactly what you think they do. Um, and also like when that campaign, not that campaign, but when they started the book series, like the gods had kind of like retreated from the world, and there wasn't really any divine magic. So one of like the big things that happens at the very beginning of the series is um a cleric actually appears. The Gold Moon character is a cleric, and he was kind of like bringing the divine magic into the world. That's what I remember anyway. I don't know how accurate it is.
You know more about Dragonlance than I do. I only read the original trilogy, but to my recollection, you're spot on. I didn't really get into it as much as you did, or heck, even my wife read more of Dragonlance than I did. Um, but it was absolutely that way. The gods had turned away from the world, and it had been a long time since there had been any divine magic, and all of a sudden, an appearance of somebody wielding divine magic, people were kind of freaking out.
Yeah, I read so many of the Dragonlance books. Although I didn't read like the ones that I think everyone else read. Like those I read all of them, but those like the other ones with the twins. Like I kind of skipped those, but I read all the other stuff. Like my favorite is Flint the King by far. Was friggin' amazing when he gets kidnapped by gully dwarves. And then like, much later, I think there was two books, and the main characters were all draconians, and that was pretty cool as well.
I dug tennis, but I think part of the thing that was ruined for me is, Steve, the other DM with our group back in the day. He talked and talked and talked about how awesome Raceland was, and I just like in the original trilogy, I just found him, kind of dull and tedious, and
Yeah,
it didn't spur me on. It's like, oh no, you have to read all these other books too, and I'm like, never mind.
yeah, like I would say of like they're a little weaker in the story because I think those books are actually much closer to like Tolkien than maybe the later Forgotten Realms books, where
Right.
they're more high action, high cinema. Like you definitely get that in there, but not as much. It was probably a little more realistic and gritty, which I find I don't really care for in my reading anymore. And I guess I was talking with who was it? I guess this was when I had Derek on, and we were talking about Forgotten Realms, or not Forgotten Realms, but about Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, well, I don't think I could go back and read those books now because I think I would find them boring. That the archaic writing style. All right, I can kind of deal with that, but I really do like high action, more cinematic stories. And now that I'm older. Yeah, Stern he was always a favorite, I think. He gets an epic death anyway, which is cool. I think then Tasselhoff. I know a lot of my friends were into him as well. He is one of the least annoying of the Kender. So let's see. We've got Wayne out of the way. Got World of Hawthorne out of the way. We hit Brad Scary's question. We have Alexander Cook. So I want to build a meta magic healer using the new favorite soul sorcerer and multi-class with Cleric of Light. We're going to start level 1, but I'm having trouble with what I'm going to start with and how to build it. What race and how would you build it? Uh, so at work, we'll watch stream later.
All right, so you're talking about making a favored soul sorcerer or cleric. I would go with half elf, and I would start off with the favored soul.
So you could do that, or you could go Azamar.
Do Azamar.
Um, I mean, half elf works too. That being said, I think either one of those will give you the bonuses you want if you're going strictly mechanically, and then it just goes on to like what are the other things you kind of want. I kind of have a book handy here, so fortunately my stuff is all stacked up from yesterday.
My books are way over there.
So then it just kind of goes into, well, what do you want what do you want to get out of your features? Um, because half elf half elf you're going to mainly get you're going to get skills. So if you want more skills, then obviously that would be a good way to go. But if you actually want, the abilities, that's another thing. So protection Azamar gives you the bonus to wisdom. And you also get Radiant Soul.
So is it 2 wisdom, 1 charisma for Asmar?
That's the other way. It would be the other way around.
Okay. So you're still getting the big bump to charisma.
Yeah, and the other problem too with that combination, life cleric. I mean, you're essentially going uber healer,
No, I
but
said, didn't you say light, or did you say life?
life,
Okay.
life. I can't talk. Yeah. So protection Azamar, you're gonna get your wings, let you fly. You can deal extra radiant damage to one target when you deal damage with an attack or a spell, which is kind of helpful. So you can get around. You also get your resistances, necrotic, and radiant. Yeah, I would probably choose to go Azamar over half elf. The Azamar does get a lot more. You're going to get the light cantrip. You're going to get healing hands, so you're going to get even more healing. I mean, it's not a lot. It's only your level. Once per long rest, but it's still something. I think, and you're gonna have dark vision. So all in all, I think I would probably go with Azamar over the half elf if if your GM's allowing that. But if you're pulling from the UA, I imagine they probably would. So would you start with sorcerer or would you start with cleric?
I mean, you could really go with either. I think favored soul is a little bit more thematic because it's like, oh, this is the way you were born as a sorcerer, and then your actions have drawn the attention of the gods rather than the hey, my background drew the attention of the gods and it awakened the thing inside my soul.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're literally.
But I mean, if they're starting at first level, it's honestly whatever class they feel like playing first.
It's
It's
also
always
the two classes where you get your thing right away.
That's true. It is a challenge when you want to be multi-class and you're starting at first level. It's like, can you just ask the DM, look, can we just start at second so I can have them both?
Yeah. Oh, and this is one of those few instances where it actually works out pretty well because you get your stuff at first level. But if you were doing something else, that would not be the case, and you'd have to wait like 6 levels
Right.
to do the thing.
To do the thing.
The only thing that's going to stink is you're going to get that you're going to waste your one favorite soul ability, which is essentially you get cure wounds. But that being said, you're also going to be able they're going to get heavy armor, so that's a huge plus. And in addition to that, you know what? I think you got to go cleric first. Oh no, you get the main thing no matter what. It's not like fighter where you get boned.
Right.
So I guess it doesn't really matter. It just depends on how soon you want to slather on heavy armor.
You're not affording heavy armor first level anyway.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about jumping
plate.
right to plate.
You're like, heavy armor does not exist before plate mail.
It kind of doesn't, but
Well, really, what it comes down to is, do you want to dump your decks or not? I think.
Right.
Yeah. So Yeah. We got I hated Tasselhoff. Soth was awesome. Soth was awesome. He was one of the best parts. He even scared Tasselhoff.
which is just amusing.
Yeah, yeah. It's a couple cries for Asimar. Yeah, protection Asimar. Have to agree. Yep, you get your lay on hands as an Asimar. So basically, a lot of stuff we just kind of said. Oh yeah, yeah. First watch to bring up Kansei is probably better. That's true. If you're gonna go, if you're gonna, especially if you want to concentrate, if you're gonna be concentrating on any spells, but the plus thing, it all depends on how many levels of cleric they're gonna take. To me, my guess is they're probably just dipping in the cleric in order to get the better healing, and then probably gonna run. Or well, he kind of asked, so I would say you would just want to dip in the cleric for just a few levels, and most of your stuff you would want to be
Sorcerer.
sorcerer. And that's probably going to be the optimal.
You always want to plan out what your final build looks like, so that you know how to go about getting there. So, like, honestly, look at your sorcerer abilities and your cleric abilities, and say, all right, what is the most appealing to me at your mid to high level, your 10s to 15s. And if you want both 10th levels, well, then that's what you're going to do. If you really want the 15 and a 5, well, there's your split.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because Scott makes me laugh always. I love you, buddy, man. So King Arthur 2017 costs 175 million and made 14 million on opening weekend. What do you think that means for D&D 2018? So really, that doesn't say enough too. Like you have to look at the foreign markets. What did it do in the foreign markets? Because occasionally a movie will not do astounding here, but in the foreign markets will really do really well. And honestly, with that movie, dude, like I barely was even aware that movie was happening. So again, like I don't understand. That's one of the things I don't understand. How you can put out a movie and spend that kind of money on it, and then people don't even know it's coming out.
Well, the other thing is you also have to figure out, like, what is it up against, and like right now, I don't know what everybody else is, gearing up to have gone and seen and whatever have you. Like, I'm thinking about, Guardian of the Galaxy. Haven't managed to get out to it yet,
You don't care.
and
You're a non-entity, Ted, because like people like Scott is seeing the movie when they come out that weekend.
right, that's
Like
true.
to Scott, that movie probably doesn't even exist after the first weekend. He goes to see everything opening weekend, and like you're lucky if you even get to the movies to see a movie, let alone what you're looking to see.
That's true.
But Scott, I think it's all about the marketing, right? Um, like that King Arthur movie, like I swear, like that suffers from the same thing as the last Star Trek movie. I'm like that thing had come and gone. I'm like, and I'm going, hey, isn't there supposed to be a Star Trek movie coming out or something? And like you just barely saw any marketing for it. And
It depends upon where you're looking. I've seen the commercials for King Arthur on TV, and it looked good, but it didn't look fantastic. It's not like I've got to go see that.
you know what? And here's the thing, and this is the fail, right? Like their marketing might be okay to you because you're watching TV, but
Mm-hmm.
guys like me, we don't watch TV anymore, and the younger generations, they don't consume TV anymore either.
Right.
So really, like if that's their source of marketing, it's horrible because they're using dead platforms. TV is dead, guys. Like no one's watching. Like what they're watching TV for their Hulu and their Netflix and everything else. It's a so that's a problem. Like their marketing, they need to have their game on point for, and this goes for D&D too for the movie. Where they need to be on point on is like I should be seeing it all over the place on my Facebook. I should be seeing it on my Twitter. They should be doing stuff on Instagram. Like the social media, I think is where that stuff is going to live and die in today's day and age.
That makes a lot of sense.
So Guardians Week 3 is what it was up against. Guardians Week 3 is probably still better. which Ted is still waiting to see. How about you guys in the chat? How many of you guys have seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
We're also 40 minutes in. Do we want to do our roll call?
We could do that, I guess. You guys, where are you from?
There were a couple people that mentioned right at the very beginning. They sounded off. There's Wisconsin and
They went out of order. It doesn't count.
and a Kuwait.
Yeah, Andrew, you're correct. There was a lot of movies that were way better than the D&D movie that could have subbed in. But hopefully this time around, maybe they'll get it right.
But yet the D&D movie was so bad, and yet they still made it a trilogy.
Well, it depends on who had the license, I think. So one of the things you have to understand is when it comes to licensing for movies, they have an expiration on them, and if you don't do anything with it, they expire. That's why we get so many reboots of superhero movies, because they're like, we just need to put out a movie so we don't lose the license.
Right.
And which is worse because they really just don't give a shit about the property. They don't give a shit about the fans. They just, it's really just about holding on to it. So we got Scott Garibay in Philadelphia. We got First Watch Tampa. Staff writer Doug coming out of Cleveland. We got Chris Lynn in Houston. Acolyte Boston. Kurt in Knoxville. We got Tom in Lafayette, Louisiana. We got Andrew, Corpus Christi. NYR924, Massachusetts. Cassandra Case is in Prince George, British Columbia. We got Lincoln in Sweden. Calabac in Jacksonville. You mean you're not in what's the dark? What is Darkside's realm? The hell is that? I forget. Let's see. Jacksonville. We got Oregon with Mr. Rob's cleaning service. That one cracks me up all the time. I don't know why. Clever Dog, Missouri. Elliot in Evansville, Indiana. Jimmy McCoy in Ventura, California. Evil Silly Putty in Minnesota. Yeah, Fantastic Four, absolutely. Poison in Kuwait. Yeah, it is Apocalypse. That's what I couldn't remember. And it is Calabac. I knew it wasn't actually. It just sounded close to it to me.
So they're saying it was a Apocalypse. Is where,
yeah. So they're making Wheel of Time. That's going to it's either going to be incredible or abysmal. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Those books were weird anyway. Dark Side is an Apocalypse. Yeah, the Wheel of Time books, like, I don't even know what book they went up to before they finished it. And I think, what was it? Was it Sanderson that took over and finished it?
Yeah,
but
I want to say it was like 11 or 12, maybe up to 13.
I bowed around like 9 or 10.
Well, 10 from my recollection, because I didn't actually finish even book 1, but 10 was like, hey, something happened at the end of book 9. We're not going to touch on any of the main characters in this book. We're just going to go around the world and show you everybody else's reaction to this, and it really just peeved a lot of people off. I listened to the abridged audios for, like, I think the first 8. And like, it wasn't all that fantastic for me. I just couldn't get into it.
Doug, too long, too many characters, too much splitting the party, weird names, hard to remember.
Well, some people would say the exact same thing about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, well, I guess. Well, you know what? They only split the party one way, though. In Wheel of Time, the party gets split and split and split and split again.
Lord of the Rings went like 3 ways.
So Dark Tower looks amazing. Calabac. I agree. It does look pretty good. And I have the extra added benefit of having never read the trilogy. So even if it's not in line, as long as it's a good movie, I can enjoy it. Unfortunately, if you read the books and the books are supposed to be really amazing, no matter how good the movie is, if it's not true to the books, people are going to be angry.
I'm in the same boat, but I believe the Dark Tower is more than 3 books.
Oh yeah, well, there's that too. I don't know why I said trilogy. Brian F. Yeah, the Wheel of Time was too long. Tried to do too much with too many characters, and each character was one dimensional. There was definitely some things about the series that I enjoyed, and like I enjoyed the character of Rand al'Thor and Perrin Golden Eyes and Matt. But again, when you have that many characters, it's really hard to focus on character development for all of them, I guess, unless you're George R. R. Martin and you're just freaking amazing. Then you can manage it. And once they start getting unwieldy, you just freaking kill them. So,
Well, not everybody views it the same way as the great George R. R. Martin.
that's true.
And every time you mention his name, I picture that little cartoon meme of him sitting there playing with the action figures. It's like tie, 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 tie.
Jimmy McCoy, the audios were great because I didn't have to try and read the names. I don't know. My brain does this weird thing when I read stuff like that, and I just visually identify the name. I don't try and sound it out, and like that's who they are. It's like a picture of their name is in place of the actual name.
It took me a long time to get Dave to recognize the word Menzoberranzan as a thing and not just that's just the Drow City. All right. If he would see it outside of context of a Forgotten Realms novel, he'd just be like, I don't know what to associate that with. It's just blah. As Dave tries to stop himself from choking to death.
Dying. Watch the Nerdarchist Dave die live on camera. Can we sell tickets to that? Can we make it a Patreon goal?
I don't think anybody wants to see Dave die on camera.
You're not looking hard enough. Acolyte 14, character A, character B. Yeah, I kind of do that. Brian F. Netflix is doing a Crystal prequel. That's probably going to be friggin' awesome.
Well, that was actually a book first.
Was it? Did you read it?
I have not read it, but it's in the house.
Aha! It is here somewhere.
Well, I actually think I know where it is. I got it for the wife as a present.
Oh, did she read it?
She did. She enjoyed it.
Nice. That was some good stuff, man. There were good childhood memories there. And man, that's when special effects were real too. Like those rabbit things they were riding. Like dudes had to like run on 4 stilts for that. Like now, you kids are so spoiled. You don't know how easy you got it. Now they just computer that shit.
Yep. None of this. Let's go make these amazing works of puppetry art. We'll just avatar that. Done.
Well, not quite that easy. Someone still has to draw it, but
I know.
Ted has a done button.
If only I had a done button.
Twitch. What is Twitch? I don't even know what Twitch is, Calabac. No, I play TV Timmy. You guys should all watch TV Timmy on Twitch. He's a really good dungeon master. His stuff's and he doesn't have nearly enough people watching his games for as good as job he does. He's got really good players in his game. Well, then I came in and brought the quality down, but before that he had really good. Like they do the voices. One of his players, she's in the chat too right now. Cassandra, she's awesome. Katie's awesome. Brad, Steve, all those guys are really good over there. They all role play, and whenever I watch Tim, a dungeon master, he reminds me of like a conductor with an orchestra because he's got like everything going at once with the Roll20. Maybe I'm just too old and grognardish, but it just seems like there's a lot going on over there when he's running the game. He does music and sound effects and always has tons of cool maps. So you should check him out. He streams on Sundays and Tuesdays And actually, his role players are so good. He actually had one of the larger Twitch channels come check out his game and then try and poach his players like during the game. So
Wow.
yeah, I won't mention names, but yeah, that's a cool channel to check out. I like Maze Arcana. I might be biased, but they got tons of Ebron over there. But I just don't watch that much streaming because it's like it's a huge time investment, 3-4 hours at a time. If I was to do that, it would be while I'm working, and a big part of my Nerdarchy work is to edit video, and you can't do that while listening to people play D&D. So that makes it really hard. I sorry guys, distracted by that chat. Oh, that's funny. I don't know. Maybe we can do that. Acolyte says, "Well, Dave, you do have an intern for all that." I think that might be above his pay grade. He'd have to be more like a slave or indentured server. It's a lot. Servant. It's a lot of work. Um, even when I don't do that much editing on the videos, I still have to do a run through of all of them. So however long the video is, it takes the very minimum that long plus a little bit. So staff writer Doug, what's your thoughts on significant D&D homebrew rules like totally new combat system that people come up with? My thought is just play a different game more like that if you want it to be like that. Yeah, kind of the same thing. We don't, even in our own 5th edition games, we don't really, or any of the games we play, really, we don't change much of the rules. Like there's probably so many different rule sets for so many different games, you could just find the one that's closest to what you're looking for.
I think that if you find a game that you like, you can make small modifications to it. But the second that you want to, like, well, let me completely overhaul some aspect of it, then it's like you're not playing that game anymore. I would go find something that's going to fit more of the niche that is your style.
Sorry, I was reading the chats. Let's see. Doug actually watches a lot of streams, and he actually has done several articles on it. So I forget who asked that question. Oh, Calabac. So you could go check out at nerdarchy.com. I think he did at least 3 different articles over there on that, and he might be working on another one, possibly. Spoilers, maybe. But Doug, I like my live stream game watching is inversely proportional to my Nerdarchy work. No complaints, love it. Wait, you pay him? No, we don't pay anybody. Unfortunately, we can barely pay ourselves, and only and even that has changed a bit. So we are getting close though to our goal on Patreon of starting to pay our writers. We don't know what we're going to pay them yet, but it might be in Cheetos.
Well, I think we set that goal back when, number one, we ourselves were writing for it, and we were looking to pay the other writers, which is, I think at that point in time, was more just Nigel, Ty, and maybe one other. And then at some point in time, without updating said goal, we decided we wanted to make a big push on the website and get more people in. And the next thing you know, we're writing roughly 8 articles a week, and it's like, holy crud.
Well, they're writing 8 articles a week.
Well, yeah, sorry. I've actually been, I think, divorced from the website since December.
Okay, so Doug has done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles on different streams that are being done. Good job, Doug. Pretty impressive.
It is impressive.
Either that or Doug just has a lot of free time. He's able to write all these articles and watch all these streams. I want to be Doug when I grow up. But me and Doug, again, we're going to be hanging out a lot. We're going to be hanging out at the Origins together. Then I think we're road tripping over to Gen Con together. And I believe we still need a place to stay. So if you guys want some Nerdarchists to sleep on your floor, you can contact us at nerdarchy@gmail.com. I
Otherwise, you're
sneak it in
sleeping in a
while,
car.
yeah, otherwise we're sleeping in a car. So Doug, I sneak it in while working from home. That works. I mean, you could be doing your work or watch streams. Works for me. Um, Elliot, have you guys had a chance to play the Oath of the Frozen King Adventure Kit yet? Well, the other night I filled out an NDA that is like a mile long. It had like 50,000 boxes I had to check on it, and I do have a copy of the an unfinished. Well, it's not unfinished, but it's not the polished product either. So I may actually jump into that and use that for something at some point in the near future. Or maybe one of the other Nerdarchists would. Or maybe we could do it. Maybe we could use it for the next fan game, possibly. I don't know if you have any plans for that yet, Ted. You're running one, right?
I am running one. I have a couple ideas that I'm working on, but I could totally ramshackle that into something else entirely. And
Well, the concept with the adventure kit. Now, I've heard different variations of people using it for different systems, from people putting it together and running it with 10 minutes prep, with zero prep, or hours prep, whatever you want. Like, it's supposed to be that universal. I actually talked to those guys. It's kind of like it's probably kind of like your idea for the crawlwood that you had come up with.
right.
But you'll probably look at this and be like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Here's how to do it much better than my attempt.
I think so. Yeah, those guys are well. In fairness, too, Matt Click is technically, he has some professional credits under his belt,
Yeah,
and
I'm a good idea person. I'm not the best at putting my thought patterns down in a logical pattern, and
execution.
yeah, that's it.
But yeah, but you have Matt Click. Boy, like I said, he's got professional credits to his name even before they started Absolute Tabletop, and Barker's a school teacher, so I don't know exactly which subject that he teaches, but both that's going to be more in line with creative writing and stuff, I think, than what we do for a living.
Right.
Oddly enough, road construction doesn't transfer over very well to any of this stuff. I know you guys are probably shocked and amazed, but apparently using a 90-pound jackhammer has very little to do with D&D or writing. So what are you going to do? And I believe this is their 18th product. So they've had a little practice.
Indeed.
But yeah, I think we'll probably end up running that. I guess that was a long roundabout way of answering your question. I'm definitely excited to check it out. I just been kind of busy. Let's see. I'm DMing for a group of 5, and sometimes we aren't able to meet for a couple of weeks. Any tips on how to maintain interest in the campaign and give them something to do during the downtime? Actually, the biggest thing you could do is just meet, no matter what, no matter who can make it. Try and have the game. If for a group of 5, I would say try and have the game for as long as you have 3 people play. Would be kind of my idea. So I think one of the biggest killers to interest in the campaign is when you stop playing. That's like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, we as we've said before, back in the day, my DM style was, if everybody doesn't show, I'm not running, and it really killed a number of campaigns because even at college level, there's times where life was getting in the way and people weren't always able to make it. It could be job, it could be girlfriend, it could be health, it could be something else entirely. So, now we kind of go with screw it. Whoever shows, and we'll play with whoever's at the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's a much better model, and also too, like some things that I find that people spend a lot of time worrying about, we stopped worrying about it, and it makes it so much easier. Like, how do I explain this character's not here? If you're the DM and you want to, go right ahead, but if you can't really come up with something, just play the game. Like, just have fun. Like, it's not a novel. It's not a movie. This isn't going to be immortalized anywhere. It's just in your memory. And like, everyone's accepted. Hey, we're playing the game. That person's not here. So there's not who are you explaining it to or for?
Well, like for instance, in my game that I ran last weekend, we're high enough level that the wizard actually has full teleport, and there was something happened in the last session that he wanted to go take care of. So I started off the session of like, oh, he's just going to teleport away. I didn't want to lock Mark's character into, hey, you go off and do this thing with Scott. I was just going to leave his character as just, I'm not talking about it. And somebody else is like, oh, does Varys go with him, or does Taris go with him? He brought it up, so make sure that the two of them, teleport away. Now, Aeson has a bodyguard with him just in case something goes wrong. The two of them already have a history of traveling together, so there's really not a problem. Great.
Thanks, Staff Writer Doug. I was actually going to say it, but you beat me to it. Someone said that Nerdarchy should be D&Dized, and Staff Writer Doug brought up the point. Nerdarchy saves the world gameplay videos. Wish granted. Yeah, absolutely. We kind of played ourselves, sort of. So when the modern rules came out from Unearthed Arcana, Scott ran Nerdarchy Saves the World, and basically we kind of like built characters around us, and then added on like the new classes because we wanted to test them out for the modern as well. So that was pretty cool. Someone was saying like the DM will run it. Yeah. So like, here's the thing with doing that, right? It kind of works, but at the same time, it makes more work for the GM. And sometimes it's just easier to be like, whatever, like totally like, oh crap, the game. It's sometimes it's just totally easier to gamers it, right? Like the movie, and be like, oh, Steve's sleeping again or whatever, and just not even worry about it.
You can throw in all kinds of silly things that happen.
Decide on class commoner.
Curses, strange magic items, kidnappings, prison. There's all different things that you can do to, push people aside, skirt them out of the action. You could literally have a magical effect that the literally the plan for tonight is you have to solve this problem where everybody is stuck except for the players that are actually showing up at the table that night. So I mean, you just keep working on things like that when you're not in town, where you've got an easy excuse of this character is going to go do X, Y, or Z. If you really want to have a reason for the story moving forward when everyone's not there. Wow, I'm a bard, huh?
Is redneck a class? Oh man, I don't think we're rednecks. Although I have seen that accusation. We would need a subclass under redneck called piney. And if you guys don't know what that is, you're gonna have to do your research and figure it out, and look at the New Jersey lore. I was actually disappointed when Ted ran his Dresden Files game because he ran it locally. I was so disappointed that we never went up against the New Jersey Devil. I would have totally did that.
It was gonna be it was out there. It just didn't like so many of our games. It kind of fell apart.
So Doug, I think how Kim was asking how to keep everyone interested when no one is able to meet regularly. That's I don't know that there's a whole lot you can do unless you are going to do stuff like chat, do Facebook groups or groups someplace else where people can kind of interact with the game. As a GM, you can kind of like post up kind of like a gazetteer that for the things that are going on. I mean, you could do stuff like that if you wanted to. But
well, if you're not doing recorded games, if you're just talking about doing your local stuff, you could literally have like in character interactions via Facebook Messenger or texting and that kind of stuff, so that the idea of the campaign continues on even when you're not at the table.
Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at. But then, and the other thing too is like, I mean, there's like it seems like there's a bigger problem there if if 2 weeks go by and no one wants to play anymore. Like, well, how much did they really want to play to begin with? Then, like, you're either into a thing or you're not. It's kind of the deal, and they might, I don't know if it's that particular game or if it is just gaming in general. Maybe they're not as big fans if they lose interest after 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah, or they're like squirrel.
If you're having people that are losing interest in your game, find out why. Like
Ask.
a lot of problems are literally solved by talking. Talk to your players, find out what it is that they're looking for or what's happening that they're not really interested in. If you give the players things that they want to do, they're going to be interested in doing it.
Oh, okay, Doug. It's the stuff I do for my group. Yeah, Piney Woodsman 105. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to figure. You're going to have to go find that. That's your homework. Come back to us, and you tell us what a piney is.
I find it amusing that it's Woodsman 105 that wants to know what a piney is.
Oh, that part is the funny part. I can't believe it's just me and Ted babbling about nothing. We got 52 people here. What you guys doing? But it is after 1 o'clock, and I'm supposed to go someplace soon. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate the fact that me and Ted can come on here and babble about literally nothing for an hour, and 50 people show up.
We didn't babble about nothing. We babbled about random topics.
Well, okay, random topics. But
that's just because we have awesome fans, Dave.
We do. I got distracted by the word piney in the chat. I'm like, oh, piney, shiny. I'm like that dude's players, and I lose interest instantly. I'm like, whoa, what was over there? But with that, guys, thanks for hanging out. As always, we appreciate it. Tomorrow we will be continuing with, I believe, Session 4, Other Skies, our Open Legends sponsored game. So that should be fun. Hopefully you guys will come and hang out with us for that. Remember, next week,
hopefully we'll actually earn XP this session.
No XP for you. Everyone but you because you asked.
Damn it!
These curses.
Not that I know what I would actually do with that XP, because I can't improve my companion yet.
Laser cannons. He needs laser cannons.
It doesn't let me do that kind of stuff.
Oh.
If you let me build it and put it on there, that'd be great.
All right, I'll shoot him with laser cannons.
Ah, no.
There will be laser cannons one way or another. All right, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be hanging out here, same time, same place. So until next time, stay nerdy.